it's the happiest time of the year. Of course, I'm referring to the time of the year when Clionadh releases their 12 Days of Holidays shadow box. I'm so excited to dig into this. We're gonna open this up together and try out all of the shadows on my eyes. I do like how Clionadh does this. It's like technically a mystery box, but when they announce it, they also put a video on their YouTube channel with spoilers for everything that's in the box. I remember when I bought it last year, I didn't need much convincing. I saw a couple shades and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it and be surprised with the rest. This year, I did need a little bit more convincing, so I did watch the whole video, but I didn't like study it, you know? So I have an idea of what's in here, but I don't like remember all the nuances and everything. So I still feel like I'm going to be surprised to see these, especially in real life, and try them out. They're all inside this little plastic bag marked Made in Canada, and all of the items are marked with a number so you can open one a day for 12 days. Of course, I'm not going to do that, but it's a cute idea. I wonder, is anyone like buying this to do that? So day number 1, we have an empty magnetic palette. This is pretty new, and I know it went up for sale a couple months ago. I hadn't bought one at the time, so I'm excited to have this. I wonder what I'll put in it. Day 2. Ooh. As I said, I remember the like vibe of the shades, but I don't remember any of the individual ones, so I feel like I'm seeing this for the first time. This is Cloister. It doesn't say the formula on the back like they normally do. It just says Holiday Countdown 2025 on the back. Oh, I like how this feels. I'm excited for this. It is like on the thinner end of Clionadh shades. I'm gonna layer it up a little bit, but it's like very soft. You know, and I do feel some texture, it's just not as thick as other shades. Interesting. This shade feels very up my alley. It has this like dusty blue base. I can't tell if it's like really dusty blue or like more so gray, but it definitely occupies the space in between them. And then the shimmers on top kind of look pink, but also looks like orange with like a light copper reflect. Definitely some yellow in there too. It doesn't have the like boom, like the standout effect that a lot of my favorite Clionadh shadows do, but I feel like that will make this easier to wear. For a shade that's like not really neutral, can I call this an interesting neutral? Can we start off calling this non-neutral shadow an interesting neutral? Because I feel like that is how I'll be wearing it, and I do think I will be wearing it. Oop. Number 3. Okay. Looks like a blue with warm sparkle. Kind of, again, maybe it's a darker blue? This is Arius. And actually that looks really pretty because it looks very like bright blue, but also kind of like a neutral berry in there. This one has a bit more texture than the last one. This one reminds me more of like the glitter multichromes. Also kind of subtle. Kind of interesting, but subtle. I don't even know what to make of this. It kind of reminds me of a more neutral version of Abrasion because it does have that same kind of like bright blue with the berry base, but very subtle. As you may know, I'm always talking about like work looks and like the champagne shades that I wear to work. And I have moments sometimes where I'm like, what's stopping me from wearing more fun shades to work? Like there's no rules against it. It's just my own concept of what shades are appropriate to wear to work. But I feel like both of these would fit that like one step up from what I normally do, but not as intense as some of my more intense shades are. Because neither of these are like absolute show stealers, but they're interesting shades nonetheless. Ooh. I just had to show you the multichrome effect that I'm seeing in Cloister when I look at this shade in different lighting. So cool. I may have been underselling this shade. Number 5, a deeper blue. Looks kind of bright too though. Yeah, this looks to me somewhere between a royal blue and a navy. It's called Moat. I don't think it's going to be as shiny. It feels different when I pick it up. A little bit more like tacky sand. Like I can feel the particles. I can also feel how they kind of want to stay together. And it feels a little rough going on my eye. Nothing too crazy. I just like to mention it when I notice it because I know people have different sensitivities. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of green to it, which I like because I like shades that are blue and green at the same time, but I'm not as crazy about this one. The formula doesn't feel as nice as normal Clionadh shades, and it doesn't seem as special. Ooh, that's funny. There's a 6 and a 9, and it's kind of like hard to tell which one's which, but I'm pretty sure from the video that this one is 6. I wonder if I had that problem last year, or like if it was underlined last year. Okay, so this one is the Shine On Shimmer Shadow Enhancer. This was released last year in collaboration with Millie Bat to the Brow, and I didn't pick this up when I bought the palette from the collection, just because I don't tend to wear things like this, but I'm also excited to like have it now, because I don't have things like this. I don't have any glitter glue. Like, I don't have any products to help shiny shades. So I'll definitely be trying this out. Probably not today, because I think it will make shadows harder to remove. But I definitely will be trying this in the future, and I'm excited to own it. Did I skip over 4? I think I skipped over 4. This was moving fast. This was just like, I have like the box on my lap to look at all the numbers, and this was like on the side. So technically, this one's supposed to be before this one in the palette. Oh, something a little bit different. This one looks like a light coral. Kind of reminds me of like a seashell color. Very golden also. Okay, instantly it is a little flaky. It like flaked out onto my fingers, but I'll just have to remember for the future to go in a little bit more carefully. And I don't, like, I've never met a Clionadh shade that's so flaky that you can't absolve the flaking issue with just like a little bit more care, you know? So yeah, definitely some fallout on my face. But the shade itself, it's pretty. Like, it's simple. The base isn't really coming up on me, so it just looks like this light peachy coral shine with like an intense fiery orange and yellow reflect to it. I like the look of it. I'm just very concerned about the fallout. I guess this is why people use things like glitter primers. I just find that like most shades, or at least like most shades that I like, I'm able to get away with not. But maybe now that I have the option, maybe now that I own the Shine On Shimmer Enhancer, I will like mess around with that for some shadows, because it's cute. Okay, I'm moving this into the 3rd spot because this was 2, 3, 4. And there we go with our number 5, Moat. Oh no, did I even say the name of this one? Time to come out again. Seraphic? Seraphic? Okay. In the other lighting, you could see more of like a pink shine reflect to Moat. It doesn't look quite as one note. Okay, we're halfway through this box and on to number 7. Okay. Looks like some kind of warm bronze. This is Hearthstone. I like the feel of this one. Like, I can feel the texture, but it also feels very soft. Maybe that is just like the combination from Clionadh that I like. Texture and soft. Okay, that's nice. It has like a very warm, I guess I would call that berry. A very warm berry base with a lot of copper and yellow sparkles to it. It feels a little bit less special than other Clionadh shadows, but it does have that like standoutness that I like in shades. And it does seem like one of the nicer iterations of this type of combination that I've seen. Like, I have some Luxie declutters coming up that I've already filmed, and I have so many bronzes from Luxie that are nice, but I feel like this one could definitely knock some of those off, maybe in the future. And there is a time and place for this type of shade, and it is a really nice version of that shade. Yep. Number 8. Looks very gray. I don't remember a gray. This is Reliquary. I have no idea if I'm saying that right. It's funny, looking at this, I'm like, have we seen a silver from Clionadh? Perhaps it's like a very icy blue. This one feels a little bit harder pressed, but it still has a nice texture on my finger. It looks very just straight up silver on my finger. Yeah, and on my eye, it just looks just silver. Maybe a little bit of gold reflecting? Or is that orange? Maybe it's more of an orange reflecting. I wonder if that will come up more in the other light, because in this direct light angle, it just doesn't look very special to me. The base looks like it's the same color as the sparkle. I wish it was like a little bit more blue, like a little bit of something, you know? And both of these do look pretty much the same in the different lights as it does in the straight on light. Number 9, we're on to the bottom row of the palette. This one looks a little bit more purpley in the package. Perhaps a cool lavender with pink sparkles. This is called Sanctum. Okay, soft but textured feel. I like that. I'm intrigued. Okay. Yeah, it definitely comes up way more warm, kind of like a light berry, like a mauvey berry. And then it has like a cool silver or lavender sparkle to it. This one feels unique to me. Like I feel like I haven't tried a single shadow like this. Usually their berry bases have something strong to compete with. And this is kind of like the berry is what steals the show. And then that silver or lavender on top kind of like neutralizes it a bit. Definitely feels like it falls into the same camp as those first ones where they're kind of like wearable, interesting shades. But I like this and I'm excited for this. Number 10. Yeah, it's funny, a lot of these are looking so similar in the packaging. And that's the thing I do remember about this palette. I remember it being like a lot of blue. So this one's kind of reminding me of the first one, Portraiture. This one's called Portraiture. Feels a little bit more hard-packed and a little bit thin on my finger. Looks very like green and pink and orange on my finger. To my eye, it looks a little bit more grungy, so I'm surprised by that difference. Yeah, it goes on pretty thin, but cute. Let me try to build that up a little bit. Okay, yeah. I don't think I have a shade just like this either. The base of it really reminds me of Mural. It has that like minty green base. It also reminds me of Emblem because that's like a mint and a pink, but the mint in this is a little bit bolder than it is in Emblem. I like this though. I feel like it fits into the same thesis statement that I've been working off, like not showstoppers, but interesting shades. And I'm down with that. Like I think this is one of my favorites. Boop. Sanctum is looking overall like a deep mauvey pink, and Portraiture is looking very multichromatic. Day 11, another blue. This is Aqueduct, and it looks like it has multicolored sparkle in it. A little bit more hard pressed, so a thinner layer on my finger. And it actually looks much lighter on my eye than I thought it would based on the pan. I guess because I picked up such a thin layer. But I actually do like it on my eye better than I like it in the pan. Because I think the base looks pretty sheer. It looks like a sheer gray base. And then the blue sparkle is pretty bright, and I think you can see the multicolored sparkle in there too. Yeah, I think the red, green, and yellow sparkles are more apparent when I look at this in the other angles. And we're not done with the box yet, but we are done with the 9 pan. Day 12. I've watched a lot of Lauren Mae Beauty advent calendar content, so I feel like a little bit of an expert on advent calendars. That's a joke because I've like literally never bought one myself other than these Clionadh ones. But it seems to be a thing that like some brands cheap out on some days, or like, you know, of course people want makeup. You're buying a makeup calendar because you want makeup, and they count some of the days as like little accessories that don't feel good enough to count as a day. So not that this would be entirely that, but I thought it was interesting when I was looking at the spoiler video and I saw that like one of the days is the empty palette and one of the days is the glitter glue. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like if they're actually doing less than 12 shadows this year, but they're not, because day 12 is a little quad. This is the same packaging as the little quad that was in last year's. And there are 4 shades in here. Oh, these look pretty. So the 12-day holiday box is actually 13 shadows, plus the magnetic palette, plus the glitter glue. I'm going to start on this side so I can finish up with the greens. So this one looks like a pink iridescent. I think it is. Ooh, it looks kind of green too, does it? Let's see if that comes up on the eye. I do love a good pink iridescent. Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of a lime flip to it. I mean, I will be wearing this on my inner corner, so I don't think you'll see that lime flip on my inner corner, but it's cool that it's there. And like, I could wear it all over my eye if I wanted to, like this, and that's cool. It's that glowy formula that I really like for iridescence, and a pretty bright pink sparkle to it. And then below it, this formula looks like it's going to be bolder, and I can feel already that it is. Yeah, it's kind of like somewhere in between gray and purple, but it's very sparkly and there's a lot of warmth to the sparkle. Really sparkly. I feel like I've been throwing around the words interesting neutral a bunch today, but this one truly is an interesting neutral. Nothing too different in the other angles for these, but I really do like both of them. And then lastly, we have these two greens. I'm thinking this one's going to be a little bit more intense and this one might be a little bit more sheer. There's the first one. Yeah, it looks like it has a pretty deep base. I like how this one goes on. Okay. You know, it's cute, but I feel like I'm very picky with my greens, and it doesn't feel that special to me. It had that like perfect soft but textured Clionadh formula, so it definitely gets points for that, but I feel like the overall effect of it on my eye, you could very clearly see the like base and the shimmer. It's a nice color, but this type of green with the deeper base, I don't think I'll be reaching for too much. And then the final green. Oh, this one's softer than I thought it would be. Okay. Definitely is more sheer. Cute. Yeah, it's kind of minty, but I feel like this is the kind of mint that I like, that it feels a little bit more grounded. Feels like it has like a little shadow of something that gives it a little bit of dimension. And I think that's kind of cool. I could see myself reaching for this shade, especially to fit in with those other types of shades we were seeing before that have more color than a neutral, but not as much like, wow, steal the show as some of my other shadows. Both of these look even brighter in the other angle. The second one especially is really glowing. It has like a lime green to it, and I really like that. I'm gonna finish off my makeup. I will be right back. And here is the finished look. I didn't want to remove the greens after swatching so many eyeshadows today. I wanted to just give my eyelids a break. So this was the one with the lighter green. This was the one with the deeper green. I did take the deeper green and I put it on the inner and outer of this lighter eye and a little bit like around it too. And then I tapped a little bit of lighter green on top of the deeper green on this eye. And doing that, I think made me like these greens even more. I really like the combination of them. And as I was saying in the other footage, I like the brightness of the sparkle in the greens. I also took that pink iridescent from the quad. I put it on my inner corner and around in my crease. I really like how it looks. I feel like it wasn't quite as easy to pick up on my pencil brush as my other iridescents that I use for my inner corner are. Like, it wanted to pick up a little bit more piecey. It did work. It just took a little bit more effort, a little bit more time, a couple more like dips in the pan than usual. But it did work, and I think it looks quite nice. I just put a Luxie matte in my crease. And for my lower lash line, I did a couple greens from the Blend Bunny and my Pang Rodden palette. And nothing on my lips because my lips got really chapped when it got freezing cold last week and has stayed freezing cold, so I'm giving them a couple days rest. Overall, I love Clionadh. I'm always so happy, so excited whenever they decide to drop anything new. And I have the added kind of benefit of being able to make a video about it and share it with you guys. So I'm not unhappy with this. Like, even if it was less of a mystery, like even if the swatches were all over Instagram, I still would have bought these. But I will say, I think overall it's a less exciting 12 Days of a Holiday launch than last year's was. And part of me wants to say, because it's like very one note, like it's very similar colors, but they're not that similar. I think there's just less exciting shades in here. And even the shades that I do like, as I was kind of saying before, they're not like holy crap type of shades, you know? Like, I like them, I have them, I'll wear them, but I feel like it's kind of a disservice that they're like already blending into one thing in my mind, which is just like a palette of blues. The ones which are my favorites, I know Clionadh does tend to release some of them after the holiday season as singles, so here are my official votes on what they should release as singles. Cloister, this was the first one that I swatched. Kind of this like dusty blue base, and we saw in the other angles it was like quite multi-chromatic. It's funny that I was really harping on this before as being like such like a wearable easy multi-chrome, because like it does look pretty special and intense in the swatch, and I think I might have been underselling it before. I said that about something else too, didn't I? And Sanctum, this was the one that was like mauve, berry, and silver. I think that's really pretty, and I feel like Clionadh doesn't have other shades like in this tone. And Portraiture, which is probably my favorite of all of them. This like mural mint base, pink sparkle, and a pretty intense multi-chrome as well. And I like the quad a lot too. I think they could also sell the quad. Did you pick this up? Which one are your favorites? Are you disappointed that it's so blue? Am I wrong for categorizing it as so blue when like it's actually not so blue? It just leans a little bit blue. But I like blue. What was I saying in this sentence? If you enjoyed this, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. There's lots more indie single shadow content on this channel pretty much every day this month. So stick around if that sounds good to you. Either way, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye!